Recording, and this hangout is live on air now. Cool.
Cool.
So welcome back. It's Dan Anderson, Dante again. It's not really part of a. It's a special episode, special edition, maybe, huh?
Special edition. It's you know what it is? It's like a breaking news update.
Yeah, I think we just want to give our hot take on what's happening in Counterparty today, because it seems to us like a big development, and it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of discussion about it. So let's just document it as it happens, I feel like, right now. That's kind of the point of this video, I think.
Well, I think what you mean to say, Dan, is what we're intending to do is to put this into the teleos of Christ.
Oh, thank you. You've really clarified that for me. And now, I feel centered.
Yeah, that's the thing. By the way, I'll have to show you the video later. Yeah.
No, I remember it's. I feel like that's what you're referencing, a video where Eric Voorhees gets asked that question at a very early conference.
Very good trivia, man. You're on your game, bro. Holy shit! Yeah. I didn't know who I was messing with.
I've seen quite a few videos about Bitcoin.
Damn, I didn't know that you've got a good Bitcoin game.
Yes. But let's just. I want to cover what happened today. So today is January 4th, which is kind of funny because today is basically like the start of the Counterparty burn. It's like 4 years after, like today, basically.
Oh, it's the anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that explains everything.
So that's just background. But I'm going to do. Well, let's introduce it, and then I have it on my screen here so we can like literally look at it.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Can the audience see the screen?
Depending on whether or not we publish this.
Okay. Well, I'm okay. I mean, I didn't get I didn't shave my head or anything. So,
but basically, what happened today is, in a very short way, is people who are members of the Counterparty Foundation basically announced that they will be dissolving that foundation. And there's been some background on that recently on my Unconfirmed Transactions podcast channel, on this YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel, and also Juncess World, and just in the community chat too. So some people will be clued into this. I'm mostly talking to the people who are clued into what's happening, basically the Counterparty community members, essentially.
So wait, so you're saying that we're here talking to you, Counterparty people out there.
Okay. Whoever's out there, I mean, the stats show that there's definitely a community of people in Counterparty.
Oh, yeah. It's real.
Old people. I see it on my site. In the last month, the traffic to my website's doubled. The market cap's doubled in the last month. It's almost tripled in terms of BTC terms in the last month. It's doubled in USD terms. So it's there. I think this announcement might cause some confusion, and no one else is putting out media about it yet. I hope people will. I think people should, especially people who made these decisions, should talk about them so people can kind of understand what happened here. But let's talk about it in the meantime.
Well, just for like a timestamp, can you do a coin market cap real quick? I mean, I can, but I'll be looking off to the side. I think it's like $49.50. It was like an hour ago.
In US dollars, it's $49, and in BTC terms, it's 326,000 satoshis.
Okay, so is this an all-time high in USD?
Yeah,
but not. But what about BTC?
Not an all-time high in BTC, but in terms of like the recent past, it is like a doubling.
Pretty impressive, right? So
it's hard to say what's going on in regards to that, but it is interesting. Let's talk about what's happening, and then we can do commentary about it afterwards.
Nice, like do a news report.
So
I'll be your audience right now.
We're gonna do World Crypto Network style.
Yes.
So you guys see my screen?
I could. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good size. I can see it now. Okay, perfect.
So this is the Counterparty Talk forum website. There's no Bitcoin dev list in Counterparty. Like there's no equivalent to that. It happens mostly in Slack, Telegram, and on this forum. And so this was posted 11 hours ago, so around noon. And it's the foundations is being dissolved.
It's funny how they say the state of the Counterparty project and not the state of the Counterparty Foundation.
Yeah, I actually commented on that thread about this. It's like it's not. We just talked about briefly about the CoinMarketCap stuff, but it's really a comment about the foundation only. It says here that it is in the best interest to dissolve the foundation, and all members who were voted as foundation directors have either agreed or have already excused themselves. The following decisions represent the foundation's final voting consensus. The foundation agrees to pay outstanding debts, which also happened 20 minutes after this post. Foundation will return general funds to those who request in 60 days. The remaining funds will be left over after the SIPs. The remaining funds will be put towards future SIPs. The foundation is no longer a legal entity, and there are currently no plans to renew the foundation entity. Counterparty now operates as an open source project with no foundation or general fund. This change is effective immediately.
Oh, it's a change.
And then let's just keep going through it, and then we'll parse it out. And then there was also a comment about the developers. So Devin Weller was getting paid by the foundation. He's no longer will he continue working on Counterparty BTC as a paid or volunteer developer. His decision is understandable, respectable. The project will continue open source and have bounties. Any discussion can proceed from here. And then Devin says that he'll keep working as a volunteer he's available. And Sean Leary says, thanks. And then I ask questions.
Right.
But let me stop sharing for a second. And we'll go back to talking. So that happened today, which was, I mean, it's not surprising, but it's a little disappointing. My major question is around like why this decision, and because it says here that it's in the best interest to dissolve it, but like in whose best interest is dissolve it? Like what
didn't say that? It didn't say.
I'm really interested to find out, because like I hope, like I said, like I've been saying in the channels, like I hope that they hop on Google Hangouts or do some media, so that, because this is kind of confusing. It's like state of the project, and it's like the state of the project is like the foundation is dissolved, and like this guy's leaving, and
you know what they call that? You know what another word?
Sounds like FUD.
Hand waving. Nothing to see. Nothing to see here. Move along. Move along. Like, how about this? Nothing to see. It's, I mean, let me put it to you this way. You think my lighting is terrible, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But all of these people are operating in the shadows. Now, I want to clarify. Michael Sullivan, who wrote that post, I want to make an observation. Okay. I really like Michael. He's always been like what my observations have been. He's been a straight up stand-up kind of guy. He's not been very controversial. I mean, he's been like a dev, he's just been sort of non-political and whatever. I mean, that's just my own personal observation. And I find it, but he's also not been very, very, very front and center on most issues. He's like not always available and, so on. And it's not a criticism. I'm just saying it's very ironic to me that the person who comes out as the spokesperson is the least spokesman-like person of anyone involved in any of it. So I just wonder what that conversation was like when they said, who should write this post? Let's have Mikey do it. Let's have Mikey do it. Yeah, I don't know. It's an observation of my own. Just saying.
Okay. So I just think that it's like this is just something that's happening, and I want to understand what's happening and why. And I think we
Yeah,
should attempt to make an effort to understand it together because this is, I mean, this is a big change in terms of counterparty. Like,
right.
as much as I'd like the Counterparty Foundation to be like the Bitcoin Foundation is to Bitcoin, like AKA
Irrelevant.
like yeah, irrelevant. It's just like they exist, but it doesn't matter. That's not the history of counterparty. It's not the culture of counterparty. Like the foundation has sort of been more active in counterparty's history,
Oh yeah.
and I think that as much as I'd like to see it just be like the Bitcoin Foundation, the Counterparty Foundation, unfortunately, is a core thing to the project. And I brought this up on the thread. No one's responded yet, but my concerns are like this post, which I'll link to below. But if you're watching this, you probably read it, and if you haven't read it, just check it out, see what they're saying. Um, but basically, they're like, we're shutting down the foundation, and if you want a refund, you can get a refund. And
If
the
you can
rest of
prove
the
it.
and the rest of the months, the rest of the money will go to future SIPs. But it's like
Right.
just like even for like posterity or prosperity reasons, I'm not sure what the word is. Like who are the people that voted this way? I mean,
Right.
there's a history of actions in counterparty from the foundation where they say like these people made these decisions for these reasons. This is just like an announcement that's like it's in the best interest to dissolve for no reason. I mean, you got to think about someone who's not following what the hell's
Right.
going
Right.
on. I really love clarity at this
Yeah.
point. Um, I think
So
it's good. It'd be good because it seems a lot like FUD from like core members at the
okay,
all-time high. It's kind of weird.
it's very weird. It's very weird. So um, the bottom line is we know nothing. We don't know who said what, who voted which way,
Yeah.
what were the different choices that they considered. Or
I
any
mentioned I mentioned on this thread. I really hope it becomes a discussion thread because I want to talk about this more. I think it's important to hash this out. You know, in my viewpoint, it would like yes, the foundation was not in good standing with Delaware, but like it was a small thing. Um, and to dissolve it, they have to get in good standing anyways. Like that's just part of the process. Like someone has to sign their name as like I'm the board of the director, and like the taxes are all clear and good. Um, so either way,
right.
the foundation has to be made in good standing, and so they're just and I think it's like three people maybe like I don't it doesn't even clear how many people made this decision but like two or three people are
Well,
deciding.
the only people that could have been involved. All right. So do you
Could
think
be.
that there were people outside of the quote unquote real fake foundation? Do you think there were other people involved in this decision making? Like,
Well, I don't know. I'd love. That's why I mean I mentioned I would love to see meeting minutes. Like I mean, it's a Delaware corporation they're shutting down. Generally, corporations keep minutes, especially for major changes like this. So I would love to see the meeting minutes if they exist. I would love to see who the board member is that signs their name on the dotted line. That's like that they're dissolving it.
oh,
Um,
you think that's really going to happen though?
I mean, they could just leave it to just sit, but there's no clarity here. That there's no. I want insight into what's
Well,
happening.
can I share with you what my understanding is in
Sure,
terms of who is on that? You know, like who would put their name on the dotted line?
sure.
Okay, so now I only know this. This is like hearsay because this only came from Robbie Dermody,
Okay.
like out of his mouth. And according to him, the only two people that are technically on that Delaware corporation are Robbie Dermody
Hmm.
and Evan. Now I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know Evan's last name, But from what I understand, Evan is the other person who's on that corporation. So that is the Counterparty Foundation. And as you had found, that has been in a status of, what do they call that status?
It's void and it's tax
Void.
delinquent.
Okay. So that's been since what? March of
2016.
2016.
But that's easy to fix. It's just what's happening here that's interesting and disappointing to me is that because devil's advocate would say, you know, like sure, like the Counterparty Foundation, that's just like the Bitcoin Foundation. What a joke! Like who cares? Get rid of it. But it's in Counterparty, like the foundation actually like controls some assets that are important to such a small project. For example, counterparty.io, the website, counterwallet.io, the official wallet,
Right.
and the donated funds. And so their forum post here addresses what they plan to do with the funds, and they say you can get a refund, and they have given a refund, and any remaining funds will be donated to future SIPs. Well, we can look at how much has been donated to all past SIPs combined, and the amount of money we're talking about is like significantly greater than that. So basically, we're talking about $250,000, give or take, in funds. And it's like this thread doesn't say who's going to hold it. It doesn't address who's going to control the website. It doesn't address who's going to control the wallet. And we know those three things are controlled by one person currently.
And who's that?
Jeremy Johnson,
AKA
J-Dog.
Okay. So he's been holding it up to this point in time. And
which I brought up on other venues is like it's to some degree a matter of happenstance, but like J-Dog, his personality or whatever aside, it could be any person. Like just think of it as one person, regardless of their personality or who they are. They've been left with the funds, the websites, and the wallets, and it's like, okay, we're just shutting up shop here, and they're not addressing that. And I think I'm going to screen share again, if you don't mind, Dante.
Okay. No, that's good.
So the last things the foundation did is it paid Devin some for development time and Rebecca for her time helping with PR. And this is the wallet, and you can see those payments. That payment's here, and this is Rebecca. I guess this would be really small on the screen too.
Yeah, that's good.
But like this person in the last 2 months donated 50, and they got a refund. But that leaves at the current moment there is about $60,000 worth of Bitcoin and about $190,000 worth of Counterparty. So you're talking about $250,000 in this address, and I think it's relevant as to who controls the official website, in that like changes are being made to that site now. So for example, this is the donation page.
Yep.
And I have a cash version of the donation page. And so there used to be like, a donation address, general fund address. And now that address is gone.
Oh, boy, that's interesting.
And it used to have a comment about like how the funds will be used in a Counterparty Foundation vote. And that language is gone. And then this is just kind of like petty, in my opinion, and kind of funny, but I'm just going to cut.
You can call it petty, right? So,
but this is the cached version of this page where I'm listed among a number of other contributors.
Can I just interject real quick?
Yeah.
So let me stipulate, hypothetically, that this is petty, as you're saying. But if it's petty, why did a human being go out of their way to consciously go out and make those changes? You can say it's petty, but why was it important enough for someone to go ahead and make those changes? So that makes it not petty.
I'm just bringing it up because it shows the active management of this website, and
Right. I'm just
let's look at it again. Let's keep looking at it, Dante.
all right.
So
Let's do it.
this is the cast version, and here I am, and I'm just like incidentally at the top,
Yeah.
and now I'm at the bottom.
Right.
And then
Oh,
in
look who's on the
addition,
top. Wait.
and it
Let me
well,
see the other version. Like, so
this
wait.
is this is
So
ca-
you
this is
were
the
at the
cast.
top, and now Devin Weller is at the top.
Yeah, but
That's crazy.
he was second before. But like
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
the changes that I'm noticing are more related to this. Like for example, Devin here is listed as a Counterparty core developer,
Yeah.
and now he's just listed as a Counterparty developer.
Oh, yeah.
John Villar is listed as a Counterparty Foundation member, and now he's
Yeah.
listed as a Counterparty developer.
Right.
And so
This is great.
this is just like a very actively managed website, and it's not run by this foundation. It's run by JDog,
Oh,
and
sure.
I think it's like I don't know why it's not a conspiracy to fucking talk about who runs these websites, and like let's look at the changes they're making. Previously, there was a foundation page, so the foundation's officially shut down or whatever. That page is now 404'd.
Wait,
You know?
do me a favor.
Uh-huh.
Is whitewash one word or two words?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm just asking.
But it's just funny because we've been taking issue with some of the way consensus is essentially achieved in the counterparty system, and now it's like for me, I would have loved to see the foundation get right with the government. I mean, they have the funds to do it.
Yeah, I think so.
Take control of those funds, who currently are controlled by Jeremy Johnson, one person who's not a member of the foundation. Just kind of get back control of those funds, maybe in a multi-sig, maybe give them to a general counsel.
Yeah, well,
with the funds.
Wait, didn't the bylaws call for a general counsel,
yeah,
director, of this or that, officers and all that? So why would they not have had those funds in escrow with the general counsel?
Well, clearly it was not being run properly. So I would like to have seen it get right with the government, kind of right with its bylaws, and controlling its funds. And I would love to see the foundation controlling these websites, at least the domain names. For example, counterparty.io and counterwall.io. The foundation could hold those in a domain registrar, renew the domains for 10 years, and they just kind of sit in this account managed by the foundation. Other people can manage the website, sure, but it allows the foundation to point the domain elsewhere if that person is doing weird stuff with the website.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that would be a nice format. And sometimes, corporate governance is tricky for people. Maybe they don't want that overhead. I would have still preferred to see the foundation go through a changing of how it's structured. Like maybe it doesn't need certain number of board members, or maybe it needs less roles. You know what I mean? Like they could have restructured it.
Well, that's easy to do if you want to do that, but there's no overhead.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's no overhead in doing what was already called for in the bylaws. There's no overhead at all.
Okay.
No one's getting paid.
Time wise, like it's so hard. It's corporate law.
It's easy. It's easy. I mean, I've been part of.
I agree. That's why I'm mockingly saying it.
Organizations, and it's not,
But even if that wasn't, if they weren't willing to do that, they could have, been like, okay, well, I resign, and the foundation could have just like rotated in new people with an election who are interested in, what do they call that? The Democratic Party is going through it right now. There's like a reform. There's always like a reform party.
Reformation.
Yeah, like you can have people who are interested, like I don't know. Maybe I would go out for that. Maybe if that would be something I would be up for. To be honest, doesn't matter at this point. It seems like, but like, um, I think the people that are shutting down the foundation should, for the benefit of the community, discuss like why they think it's in the best interest of the community to get rid of this. Why
But they
they
didn't
think
even.
it's in the best interest to not address the fact that like the foundation
Again,
gave all these things to one person.
they never said that it was in the best interest of the community. I mean, you have a screenshot of
I
that.
mean, they said we believe it's in the best interest.
Well, but they never said of whom.
Yeah, and I think they should address that. I think they should address what's going on with the Counterparty.io Foundation website, the Counter Wallet site. These are the official sites. Like we're at an all-time high of interest in price and market cap, and the foundation announces we're closing up shop, and but it's kind of a funny way to close things. It's like foundation's closed, this is done, but like we're keeping everything, and it's like that's like they're going underground. Is that what's happening? It's like the foundation will continue underground.
Well, okay. So if you want me to give you my take on this, if you go back to the that thing that was put out by Michael Sullivan, that post, the one thing that jumps out to me in that post is that it said Devin Weller. I have to look at it.
I got it.
More. Okay. Devin Weller will, I mean, I'm going from memory. So let's see. He was the only paid developer and will no longer continue working on Counterparty BTC as a paid or volunteer developer. Mm-hmm. So I find it interesting that Counterparty has always been Counterparty. Counterparty has always been 100% known to be on the Bitcoin blockchain. Mm-hmm. And they're now they're using wiggle room. They're using like a weasel clause, you know, where they say he will not be a Counterparty BTC paid developer. Well, why would you clarify Counterparty BTC when I think it was Devin's plan all along, because he was like the chief cheerleader for the last, I lose track of time in Bitcoin years, you know, but over the last course of December, he was the biggest cheerleader for Counterparty, you know, the official Counterparty, to have a sanctioned move over to Litecoin. Okay, that's what they wanted. That's what Robbie wanted. That's what Devin wanted. And that's what the other developer that's no longer a developer also wanted.
This is relevant. So we were just talking about how Devin Weller was paid to develop, and he's basically saying he's no longer going to continue. It's a little confusing though, because it says here he's no longer going to continue working on Counterparty as a paid or a volunteer developer. And then right away he comes back and says literally that he would volunteer. So it's a weird kind of announcement. But let's look at this. This is the so the donation page, like the SIPs have bounties. And so this is SIP 15, which is SegWit support, which should reduce fees for Counterparty users.
Right.
And they were collecting donations. And I pointed out at one point that, you know, this should be funded if people care about fees.
Right.
And then this is.
I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Okay. I'm back with you, Dan. I had
okay.
Yeah.
This is the latest. This is the live site, and you can see that SegWit support has been, the bounty's been collected, 500 Counterparty, and you can see that on this blockchain explorer here, that it was actually 80% funded in the last 2 weeks. Somebody went hard and, you know, donated to it.
Right.
And so it's fully funded, and at current rates, this is 500 XAP is about 20 grand.
Nice. Nice work if you can get it.
and SIP 15 is written by Devin. So it's a little frustrating for me, and I think probably for the people that donated this money.